Hey everyone, Michael Short here. Come on, let's go outdoors. Well, Christmas is just on the doorstep, and you never know what Santa Claus is going to leave under the tree for a family. Maybe it's some new ice fishing gear. And if that is the case, and you're relatively new to the sport of ice fishing, this next interview is something you should probably pay attention to. And even if you are a seasoned angler, it will serve as a positive reminder. I'm sitting down and chatting with Troy Furukawa. He is a biologist with the Alberta Conservation Association, and we talk about aeration systems and why we have them on our lakes and the dangers that they can pose if you get too close.
The whole purpose of aeration is to kind of create an open hole, and yeah, it can be a safety concern, just due to yeah, like having open water there. People can actually fall into that. So,
I've
uh,
seen photographs where, I
mhm.
mean, snow machines have literally gone across. There might have been a little bit of a hard thaw or freeze, and snow machines have gone right across where these aeration systems are. You put up safety nets, and yet you're still finding people are getting underneath them. And is there a draw to fish close to these open waters? What are you guys figuring out?
Yeah, I think there's the idea that potentially the fish are drawn to that, to the oxygen we were creating, but it actually diffuses throughout the whole lake, so there's not really a need to fish right at the holes. And I feel like oftentimes people will even try to cast, cast instead of use ice fishing gear, they'll try and cast in the holes, but it does create a safety concern for us.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the aeration system itself. What is it doing on the or in the lake that make it such a useful tool for you guys?
Yeah, so essentially the aeration systems are just pumps that they have a propeller on it, and they'll spray water into the air. And when we put a number of those systems side by side, it just creates a nice open hole for oxygen exchange at the surface. And plus the spray actually agitates it and helps provide even more oxygen. And then that diffuses throughout the lake.
So, when you are selecting a lake, are there certain characteristics that the lake has to have in order to be a successful candidate for aeration?
Yeah, we have a criteria that we follow. The lakes are generally suggested to us by the government and or other stakeholders. And then at that point, when we get that request, if it aligns with AP and ACA provincial priorities, we'll investigate and then we'll run it through a screening process. And a lot of it has to do with lake size. If they're too big, it's costly. If they're too small, it may not provide enough opportunity. And yeah, we'll just kind of go along that lines. And then also we'll have to monitor the lake for 1 to 3 years, get winter DOs, dissolved oxygen, just to see if it actually needs it.
And would it be fair to say that a majority of the lakes the Alberta Conservation Association aerates are ones that are stocked throughout, in the spring, summer?
Yeah, typically an aeration project will involve a stock lake or a lake that's potentially being investigated for introducing fish. Because the whole idea is to provide opportunities where people don't normally aren't able to get out. Like, so most of these lakes are close to communities, and just provides additional opportunities that otherwise people wouldn't have without
And
traveling like a long way.
how many lakes are currently being aerated in Alberta?
Uh, well, there are also some clubs are also aerating their lakes as well, but the ACA aerates 22 lakes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it is a process. I mean, it takes.
Yeah.
I recall the effort that was put out on Hassey Lake just
Hmm.
a few years ago, and it's building a shed, a proper shed to house all the pumps in, and then running the lines out, and it's not a cheap endeavor, is it?
No, and that's part of our criteria is the logistics. Like, how easy it is to get power to the lake, and it's just a number of factors that, yeah, that will really just make sure that the lake is a good candidate before we invest in that. And actually, another thing that's really been very helpful is communities that, they have a water body in mind, and we partner up with them and they provide funding. That's also a very important thing that helps us out a lot. Like if a municipality wants to contribute and look after their own lake too, we can help facilitate that as well, and then we can get more benefit all around.
Troy, thanks so much for this. Again, folks, another big caution out there. If you see an aeration system, please don't go anywhere near it. Your chances of catching a fish are just as good at the other end of the lake as they are, maybe beside one of these things. Is that accurate, Troy?
Yeah, I would say so. And actually, we do have our toll-free number on signage that we put out at the lakes. Follow all the directions of the sign, fish away from the fenced off area. And yeah, just make sure you give us a call if you see any fence down. That's a risk. Or if pumps are down, feel free to give us a call and let us know. We'll get out and fix it right away.
Troy, thanks so much for this, and all the best over the holidays to you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.